Harmonic Trading Management, Introduction to Reversal Types. Harmonic Trading Management. Harmonic Trading Management requires a defined set of rules to guide executions and behavior. We employ predefined price parameters, much like we do in patterns to differentiate situations. You also want to follow this framework of to develop automatic versus discretionary strategies. This eliminates guessing, and we focus on measuring. Really important. This whole framework, the Harmonic Trading Management Framework, does give us guidelines in each step of the process. Now, when we're looking at the management of any harmonic trading position, looking at either a reaction, a reversal, possibly no execution at all, or an immediate failure. Now, we'll look at those situations in some examples, but important to distinguish these reversal types. In a type 1 situation, this is the first time a pattern completes. We're typically looking for a reaction. Then we notice a secondary test, and actually really important to note that most harmonic pattern opportunities are going to give you 2 executions. Now, in terms of the management, this helps us to understand whether or not we're going to be aggressive or we're going to allow more time. If we're in a type 1, we expect the reaction. If it's type 2, we're going to give it more time, let that reversal unfold. Some instances we might see a type 3, a third retest. But for these purposes, we want to just focus on the type 1 and type 2 model. Now, the harmonic trading management, the type 1 framework, is all about the harmonic reaction. This starts with the terminal bar completion point. And again, we're looking for an immediate 1 to 6 bar reaction. That type 1 profit target is usually at a 38.2% or as much as a 61.8% range of the pattern. And again, we typically expect 2 tests of every harmonic pattern opportunity. So the first test we get, we expect a reaction. And so we're going to be aggressive in our management. These reactive expectations on the first test facilitate actually a conservative management model, whereas reversals should unfold shortly after completing the pattern. The harmonic trading management type 2 is all about the reversal. Look for a secondary retest and expect a larger reversal from that pattern confirmation. It starts with looking at the retest of the potential reversal zone as well as the initial terminal bar. We'll look at some examples here in a minute, but the critical expectation is that this is going to take longer. So we might see a reaction at that retest of 7 to 10 bars where there's a consolidation required, but we also expect a larger profit target as high as the 618 level of the pattern. These general reversal expectations all in the secondary test allow more time to establish the harmonic reversal area as the price action frequently consolidates before confirming the pattern. Here's our bullish harmonic trading management model of a type 1 and type 2 scenario. Looking at a bullish pattern, bullish bat here, where we again looking at the initial completion and we expect this first thrust up to a 382 or as high as a 618 level, and then we look for the retest. Reaction, type 2, retest, reversal. This 4-hour chart of the euro versus the US dollar shows a really nice bullish bat with both the type 1 and type 2 reversals here. Type 1, that's a reaction actually. And again, our immediate expectation as the terminal bar is completing is we're looking for a move either the 382 or as high as the 618 level. So we know at the completion of the pattern as that terminal bar is forming that our minimum reaction here is going to be at least 130 pips, maybe as much as 190. In this instance, actually rallied over 300 and then came back. That's pretty aggressive. Now, all the way up here could easily be assuming this is going to be a breakout monster move, but we know this is the first time the pattern completed. Even though it went past the 618 target, we're still looking for that retest. Now, this secondary retest, check out what happens here. We hit the zone, but we take quite a bit of time. That's more like what we see in a lot of type 2 tests where They'll come back, retest the zone, retest the terminal bar, take a little more time and price before we expect a larger move, as high as the 618. On the first reversal, we're only looking for a 382 move. A lot of times we'll get more, but our expectation is to keep it quite tight at the 382 level. Here's a great chart of the price action in the potential reversal zone. Looking at the type 1 here at the D point, thrust up well beyond our 618 level. Then back down here. Again, look how many bars. It's coming into the zone, retesting that prior potential reversal zone, and taking quite a bit of time. Remember the 7 to 12 bar general rule here, and that's exactly what we're seeing as it completes. Here we retest both the terminal bar and the lower end of the potential reversal zone, and look at how many bars it requires. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 before the larger reversal really takes off. Bearish harmonic trading management type 1, type 2 model here. Again, as measured off of the pattern from X to A, okay, and then from A to D. So from A to D, we look for this retracement of a 382 down to the 618. This sets us up again, that first reaction, we look for that, and then a secondary retest. We look for a reaction, secondary retest, look for a reversal. Now here is a remarkable bearish Gartley pattern on New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. It's a weekly chart. This is a well-chosen example for sure, but demonstrates the framework here. Remarkable. It's a weekly chart as well. You're talking over a year of price action just to form the pattern, set us up, and then the entire type 1, type 2 reaction reversal occurring over a 6-8 month period. This is dramatic, but again, this really reinforces the concept. Here's price action in the potential reversal zone. Here's our terminal bar. Again, look, this is pretty tight. Have quite a bit of consolidation. After we go to the 618 target, we come back, full retest of the zone. Now this one didn't take nearly as much time, but there is consolidation here, and again, we're focusing as soon as that retests, we're looking for this reaction off of the zone. Now, the harmonic trading management of a type 1 situation, again, is all about expecting a reaction. As soon as that terminal bar completes, we're looking for the reaction within 1 to 6 price bars thereafter. Our typical type 1 profit target is a 382, but we can also include as high as a 618. Remember, again, we're looking for 2 tests of every pattern. So the first test, we're going to capture that reaction. This general reactive expectation on the first test facilitates a conservative management, as all the reversals should unfold shortly after completing the pattern. Now we're going to look at, mostly for the type 1 scenario, automatic profit targets. And we also employ discretionary profit targets. We'll look at discretionary profit targets in another session. But we want to focus on the automatic profit targets and those strategies that simply look to cover a trade at the 382 or 618 of the pattern. This also helps to create a comfort zone where we can also allow more time, especially in the type 2 scenario. We can bring other strategies to see if the pattern is going to give us a larger move or not. But for the type 1, what we're trying to capture here is this natural harmonic reaction. All harmonic patterns have an expected minimum outcome of a counter trend reaction. That's what that 382 move is all about, especially on the first test. The thinking is, if this natural cycle as defined by the pattern is valid, then the potential reversal zone of the pattern or the measured level will define what I like to call a harmonic pause within the primary trend. Now, as long as that terminal bar does not exceed the constraints of the setup. So if we have a pattern, regardless of where it forms, we have valid ratios, valid measurements. We're going to expect at least a counter trend reaction, on that first test. So after that terminal bar is established, For any harmonic pattern, that expected type 1 natural harmonic reaction reverses to the 3A2 retracement of the measured range. This helps create what I like to call also a defined trading realm. We know in advance where to be executing and where to be managing this trade. And that's a critical, important point because we're measuring profit targets before the execution even occurs. Now let's look at the automatic profit targets because this provides a measured framework for patterns with harmonic ratios to determine risk reward in advance. It also gives us a general measured framework for management, just like we do for identification of patterns. The automatic management strategy sets the profit limit in advance. So we're going to look to take a profit automatically on the first test at that 382 level. We can do a partial management where we take half off at a 382 or 618. But again, looking for this mandatory reversal to a 382 at one of the predetermined ratios really defines the extent of the natural harmonic reaction. So when we're looking at, say, a bullish example here, we have automatic targets. We look to that 618, 382 level. Those are the two desired levels for initial reaction. Now going back to our Euro USD example in the 4-hour chart, here's the bullish bat on the type 1. That's a type 1 reaction. Look, goes to the 382, a little consolidation here, but then blasts through the 618. Down here, as the terminal bar is completing, we know that at a minimum that 382 is our target here for about 120, 115 pips. You're down here at that 886. You already know that 123.30 is your general level or at or just above, with as high as about 124.10 at the 618 target. Now we'll look at how to handle these larger situations, but if we already know that this is what the max we're going to get on a initial reaction, then it gets a lot easier to manage these positions because once this rolls over, we know we're looking for a retest. So let's look at what that bullish type 1 reaction looks like because really as soon as that 382 or 618 hit, we're looking to execute part of the profit and take at least half of it off, if not all of it off. Here, Euro USD on the 4-hour, the bullish bat. Again, here in the green zone, this is where we're looking to enter the trade immediately after terminal bar completes. Then look for that 382 move up to here. Look, on that first move, we get the 125, 130 pips. And you could have an automatic cover target here on half the position. Now, it did go higher, but look at this sharp drawdown before it hits the 618. This is the type of optimization that we need to do as traders. We take an automatic target here, we take automatic profit here, because we typically get consolidation in this area. Now, do we know it's always going to go to the 618 or not? No, that's something other strategies will help us clarify, but from a price reaction standpoint, this from terminal bar on type 1 to our 618 is our minimum expectations here. Now, on the bearish type 1 management of these profit targets, we're again measuring off of the pattern from A to D. We analyze the entire area from X to A. That pattern gives us the entire range, but we're really looking for the profit targets to measure from the low here at A, wherever the high of the terminal bar for D. And again, look at the 382 or the 618. Let's go back to that incredible example, the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc here on the weekly chart. We see this W formation. Look at the Gartley, beautiful 618 at the B point. All of our measures give us that ideal area right around 78.75. A weekly chart is remarkable. And look what happens as soon as we hit the top end of that zone. This thing stalls out, rolls over. That's the type of reaction we want to see, regardless of the time frame. And again, our expected move is to that 382 or 618 minimum level. And also notice the whole pattern, especially in the type 1 trades. The entire pattern encompasses everything we need to know from a price perspective. All the price parameters within the trade are defined by that structure. So here are the type 1 targets. Really clean. Look at how we hit the 382 level almost exactly on that first bar. Take some consolidation and then go lower. Again, this red bar, this whole red zone, the end of the trade for at least half of the position on a type 1 always is executed here by the time you reach the 618 target. That's a rule of thumb. That automatic profit strategy is vital to getting the most out of harmonic patterns. Harmonic trading management types conclusion. Now we looked at type 1 and type 2 here. Really important to have that framework instilled in your mind in the same way that we differentiate patterns. This gives us the proper expectations. So we know a type 1 is a reaction, a type 2 is a reversal. That's our measured framework. There's really absolutely no deviation from this framework, because if we expect a reaction on that first test, as we've seen, most harmonic patterns are going to give you 2 opportunities at a minimum.